voiceover for this video, but my voice is just as weak as anything, so sorry if this is really quiet and rubbish. But this video is the last video of 2025, and with that I thought I would take you along with me on my very first Christmas Eve Christmas dinner prep day that I gave myself. So I took the day off work to allow myself to get ahead of the game, do a bit of preparation for the big meal that I've never cooked before. I've never cooked a roast before, let alone a full-on turkey dinner. So I'm excited but nervous. Not nervous, but kind of nervous because it's new. It's just the bird that I don't know what I'm doing with, but we'll figure that out as we go along. But yes, so the first thing to get me into the spirit, to get me in the cooking, baking swing, I am cooking some sausage rolls. So this is actually pork and apple stuffing meat, which I got from Tesco's, and I'm using that to create our sausage rolls, which we'll eat Christmas Day sort of evening as a snack, and then come Boxing Day if we have any leftovers. So that is what I'm making today. Super easy. I've made sausage rolls on my channel lots of times before, and they are so simple to make. Like, if you say you can't cook or you're not a baker, then make sausage rolls, because they are the world's easiest thing. You literally physically can't get it wrong. I buy pre-made pastry and I buy some sausage meat, whack it all together and job done. It's literally that simple. You really can't go wrong. I bought 2 lots of pastry and 2 lots of sausage meat, or stuffing meat in this case, to make 2 batches of sausage rolls basically. And I like to make them a sort of reasonable size, not so small that you'd class them as like a cocktail sort of party sausage roll, but also not so big that you've then just got one big sausage roll that you'd kind of have like at lunchtime, you know what I mean? So these are like the perfect in-between size, that it's a snack, but you can have you can have multiple of them. So that's much better. In my opinion, I feel like this size works best. Now this may come as a surprise, because honestly, I'm surprised. I don't know why I haven't sorted this out sooner. But I don't actually own a cooling rack, so I just leave them to set a little bit on the tray so that I don't rip the bottom layer of pastry when I take them off the tray, and then I just sit them on the side to cool down, whether it be a plate, a chopping board, a spare baking tray, like just put them to the side and they'll cool down and you can crack on and get your next lot in the oven. Nothing fancy. That is what I tend to do just to get the trays moving, keep the flow going. Just stick them on a chopping board and let them cool down. So once my sausage rolls were all cooked and on the side ready to cool down in their golden deliciousness, I've moved on to prepare my roast potatoes. So these are orchestra potatoes, but Maris Piper are just as good and a very common roasting potato. So I just washed them first, peeled them, and then chopped them up into traditional sort of roasty chunks. And then I popped these on the hob to boil or parboil, because then we're obviously going to roast them in the oven. So I just parboiled them until they were slightly soft but not right soft. And I obviously had to do 2 lots because I did so many roasties. So let them bubble away, and then whilst they were bubbling and boiling away, I heated up some goose fat in the oven, make that nice and hot so that we can get some really gorgeous crispy golden roast potatoes. Once the potatoes were ready, I drained them and then put them back in the pan just so that the steam could dry off basically the potatoes. We want the potatoes sort of as dry as possible, so putting them back in the hot saucepan just takes the hot steam will just sort of burn off the rest of any moisture that's on the potatoes. So I just left them to the side whilst the oil was finishing heating up. Once that was ready, got that out of the oven, gave the potatoes a bit of a shake to roughen up the edges in the saucepan, and then that gives you that lovely crisp roasty by just roughening them up slightly. So do that and then pop them into the hot oil, and obviously the oil will sizzle and spit when it's hot enough, so you know you're there.
Okay, well, first off, welcome you all. It's great to be here. As you know, this is our big time of year, so things are busy as usual. There's a little speed bump.
As I was only partially preparing these for the next day, obviously I didn't want to cook them thoroughly. So what I've done is just pop them in the oven for a few minutes. I think it was probably about, 5-10 minutes, just to let them brown off a little bit. And I took them out of the oven, popped scooped the fat over just so that everything had a good covering. I popped it back in the oven, gave it another minute or two, and then left them out on the side to thoroughly cool down before I could then pop them in the fridge, ready to then finish roasting on Christmas Day. Then the last thing I'm pre-making, just once again to help myself out. I mean, I find these really easy to make, but it's just going to take the pressure off me that a little bit more come Christmas Day. So I'm making some Yorkshire puddings that I can cook, and this is what you would do anyway if you make a whole tray full of Yorkshire puddings. You could then freeze these. So making the batter is so easy. It's literally plain flour, eggs, whisk all together, pop in some milk, whisk all together, stick it in a hot tray, so either a Yorkshire pudding tray or a muffin tray like I've got. Make sure that is preheated, and then make sure that you put it in a really hot oven and you do not touch it for the full 20 minutes. So you need to leave the oven well alone to keep hot, to keep that rising and do its job. So yeah, I do find these really easy to make and really fun to make, and they come out so great. So I've been able to make these the day before. I can then just pop them in a really hot oven on Christmas Day for 8 to 10 minutes just to crisp up and get that proper crispy edge, because they go slightly soft when you pop them in the fridge, or obviously in the freezer if you're keeping them for a few months. Popping them back in a hot oven on the day and they'll just really crisp up and they'll just be so tasty. So they always come out massive, even though, like, obviously I'm sharing out the batter and I only put sort of half the mixture in each section of the tray. They do come up really big, so it is very rewarding to make Yorkshire puddings. I'm really pleased with the preparations that I've done ahead of the big day, and it's been really fun. I love baking, I love cooking, so to get a good day, well, it's only took me the morning, but to get a day at it and have a really big, lovely production line ahead of the big day was really fun and nice to sort of somewhat get in the Christmas spirit, and will obviously take the pressure off Christmas Day as well. So yeah, as I say, it's the last video of 2025. I hope you've all had a wonderful year. Obviously, I'll catch up with you in January and let you know how my Christmas went. And I'd love to hear from you what your plans are and how the big day goes. And yeah, just wish you all the very best. And I hope you all have a wonderful 2026. And I look forward to speaking to you lots more throughout 2026 and carrying on sort of creating more content and trying to do a bit more, I think. So yeah, it's just that fine balance of not putting so much pressure on it having to be perfect or it has to be a certain something, and just being true to me and just genuine, and that is what I think reflects in my content. So I hope you'll follow along for another year on YouTube, and yes, I hope you all have a very, very well one, and speak to you soon.